prenuptial agreement is a contract between two people planning to get married that determines how their property will be distributed when the marriage ends. Prenuptial agreements are often called prenups and can come into effect for various reasons, but are typically associated with divorce, where they can help avoid some of the uncertainty associated with the process. We're eForms, the largest online database of fillable legal forms. In this video, we'll address New Mexico prenuptial agreements, including what prenuptial agreements can and cannot do, what's required to create one, and what you should do before signing. Before we dive into New Mexico's laws on prenuptial agreements, a quick advisory. Prenups can be a sensitive subject, even in the healthiest relationships and the cases in which they are most needed. Before getting ready to draft one, have a thoughtful conversation with your partner. It may also be a good idea to speak with a financial professional who can tell you whether your assets and personal situation make you a good candidate for a prenup. Be sure to watch to the end of this video so you can find one of our downloadable prenup templates so you can get a sense of what to look for. First, what can New Mexico prenups do? New Mexico's prenuptial agreement laws give couples flexibility to draw up contracts that can apply to essentially any asset. It can apply to personal property, including stocks and accounts, as well as to real property, like real estate. It can cover property owned by either partner before the marriage begins, or to property that they own together, and along with laying out who will receive the property if the marriage ends. It can cover specific rights or obligations regarding a piece of property, such as the ability to mortgage or sell it. They can also set out which state's law will govern how the agreement is interpreted in case there is a dispute. For example, a couple could sign their prenup and get married in New Mexico, but could choose to have Arizona's law apply to the agreement, even if the case is heard in a New Mexico court. So, what are the limitations on New Mexico prenuptial agreements? While these rules give couples a lot of freedom, it's not unlimited. Prenuptial agreements cannot contain terms that violate the state's public policy. In most cases, whether a term violates public policy will be up to a judge. Other terms are more explicitly prohibited. Prenuptial agreements cannot limit one spouse's right to receive child support, a spouse's right to child visitation or custody where a spouse may live, or the possession a spouse may pursue. What are the formal requirements of a valid New Mexico prenup? To be valid, prenuptial agreements must be written down and signed by both parties. Even if this is done correctly, however, there are still some reasons why the agreement might later be thrown out. First, the agreement must be signed voluntarily if there is evidence that one of the parties was pressured to sign or did so against his or her will. The prenup can be set aside. The other concern is what's called unconscionability. An unconscionable premarital agreement is one that is exceptionally unfair to one party. This is also something that will be decided by a judge. There are some things couples in New Mexico can do before creating the prenuptial agreement to make these things less likely to occur. First, both spouses must be honest with one another about their assets. Failing to disclose an asset can later provide grounds for getting rid of the agreement. It's also important to give both parties a chance to consult with their own separate attorneys. This can reduce the chance that one spouse could later say he or she didn't understand what the agreement meant. What happens after the marriage becomes official? In New Mexico, a prenup becomes effective when the marriage becomes official, not when it's signed. If the couple later decides that they want to change the prenup, they can, but the same restrictions apply. The changes must be written down, and both parties must agree to the changes. Prenuptial agreements can be extremely helpful for many different couples. Click the link here to find a prenup template that holds up in New Mexico. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to keep up with more videos on business, real estate, and other legal issues relevant to daily life.